Coming up, kids and the vaccine. The FDA gave the okay this week for some kids to get the coronavirus vaccine.
Is the adult vaccine and the kids vaccine both the same?
Dr. John will be here to answer your latest questions. Plus, we'll take a look at Ramadan, a holiday millions of people around the world observe. Some kids from London will be on hand to explain what it's all about. Also ahead, our pal Carrie Sanders will tell us all about sea turtles. And then the story behind an inspiring project kids are leading across the country. And Kate the Chemist, she'll be here to show us an incredible edible experiment you could try at home.
This is NBC Nightly News Kids Edition.
Welcome back to Nightly News Kids Edition. It's great to be with you. We've got a really cool lineup just ahead, including a look at sea turtles and a very special homecoming that we can't wait to share with you. But our top story continues to be the coronavirus and the road to recovery. This week, big week, the FDA gave the green light for kids ages 12 to 15 years old to get the Pfizer vaccine for COVID. All right, we know you guys have questions, so let's get straight to them. Joining us now in our Ask the Doc segment is our pal, Dr. John Torres. And Dr. John, our first questions come from a viewer in New Jersey.
Hi, Lester, and hi, Dr. John. My name is Blessy, and I'm 11 years old, and I'm from New Jersey. I have two questions for you. My first question is the adult vaccine and the kids vaccine both the same? And is there any difference between both of them? My second question is, are they giving the same dose for the kids just like the adults? And what is the vaccine made out of? Does the vaccine have any side effects? Thanks. I love watching Nightly News Kids Edition.
Thanks. Great questions. And Dr. John, I'm thinking those are really the same questions that the government was asking about the vaccine before it approved them, right?
Exactly, and that's why they authorized it at this point, because they found out the answers to those questions, at least for kids that are 12 to 15 years old. But Blessy has a lot of good questions in there. And right now, it is authorized for kids 12 to 15 years old, and they'll start probably getting the shot later this week or maybe early next week. And it's the same dose as adults, and it's the same time interval, meaning they get them 3 weeks apart. But what we don't know is what's going to happen with other kids. Side effects were the same as adults, meaning they had a sore arm, they felt a little kind of blah, didn't feel very good for a day or so, and then they got to feeling a lot better and they were protected from COVID. As for what's in the vaccine, now the vaccine does not have the virus. Here's my virus model. The part of the virus that makes you sick is inside there. But what the vaccine does is it takes these little spike proteins, we call them. These are the things that allow the virus to stick to your cells. It takes those and it tells the immune system that's what they need to look for. So when this virus is floating around your body, your immune system is looking for that spike protein because the vaccine has told it to, and it can fight the virus and get it kicked out of your body.
All right, great answer. Our next question is from Virginia.
Hi, Lester and Dr. John. I'm Izzy from Fairfax, Virginia. Today I have a question for you. When little kids are eligible to get the vaccine, do they need 1 dose or 2 doses? Bye, I love Nightly News Kids Edition.
Yeah, and there's 3 different vaccines out there. The Pfizer is approved for some kids right now. So will they have to do that second shot like adults?
You know, the Pfizer is approved or authorized for 12 to 15-year-olds right now. And when they start getting the shot, they're going to have to get 2 shots just like adults do. But Izzy has a great question, because what we don't know is what's going to happen with younger kids, with smaller kids. And that's what the human trials, that's what the testing is looking into right now, because it's possible that younger kids might need smaller doses and they might only need 1 instead of 2. We don't know, but we're going to find out hopefully by the end of the year, so younger kids can start getting their vaccines either the end of this year or the beginning of next year, and we can get everybody protected.
Let's sneak in one more question here. This one comes from New York City.
Hi, my name is Pilar, and I live in Brooklyn, New York. I have a question about the coronavirus. Can you still get it if you're vaccinated and spread it to others? Bye, I love Nightly News Kids Edition.
Thank you. And Dr. John, what about that?
Pilar has a great question, and this is a question that scientists have been answering for the last few months, because the answer is, even if you get vaccinated, you can still get the virus and you can still spread it, but you're not likely to. It's very rare when that happens because the vaccine protects you from getting it. But if you happen to be around a lot of other people, especially if they're not vaccinated or you're in a big crowd, they still want us to wear masks just to make sure we protect ourselves and those around us. Once enough people get vaccinated, though, we won't have to worry about that. And then we can go ahead and take off our masks and not have to worry about them for a while.
And as these vaccines become available to kids, it's really important they're asking those kind of important questions. So, Dr. John, thank you as always.
You bet.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about a holiday that's observed every year by millions of people around the world, and it's coming to an end this week. Ramadan is the most important time of the year for Muslims, and it comes with special traditions. Our friend Raf Sanchez caught up with some kids in London to learn more about this special month.
Oh yeah, love those.
Most days when best friends Ayan and Mikhail get home from school, it's snack time. But not today. That's because they're fasting for Ramadan. Fasting means not eating. During Ramadan, grown-ups go all day with no food. For kids, a mini fast, a few hours each day. But why do Muslims fast? To remind yourself of what it's like to be hungry, so you have more compassion for those in need. So is it hard to not eat all day? Do you get hungry?
It's really difficult. Because you can't eat for the whole day.
Poor people in Yemen or other countries, they don't have food or money.
After shopping for groceries during the day, the big moment comes when the sun sets. First cooking, then prayers.
Allahu Akbar.
And then, finally, time to eat. This is the iftar dinner. Iftar means break fast, like breakfast, when you eat after a long time with no food. It's one of Ramadan's holy traditions.
During this month, we really do try and reconnect with our religion, and we try to pray as much as we can and really understand our religion more. And it just gives us a chance to stop what we're doing, stop the world for a moment for that month, and just really, really connect with our God.
2 billion people around the world observe Ramadan, from Saudi Arabia to America, a global community all sharing one belief. Ramadan is a holiday where friends and family come together. This is Hala, who lives in Egypt. We love Ramadan, she says. It's beautiful. Islam has 5 main traditions. Fasting is one of them. Another, charity and helping others. When we first met Ayan and Mikhail, they were making lemonade to help kids in the Middle East.
Lemonade for Yemen.
This Ramadan, they're selling iftar snacks online, raising nearly $100,000 so far.
So you guys are raising money for charity this year? You're getting sweets and cakes and things?
Yeah, from bakers around the world, and then we sell it to people, then we get money, and then we give it to our charity.
At the end of Ramadan, a big party. It's called Eid al-Fitr. The exact date depends on the moon. Ramadan starts with a crescent moon and ends with another crescent moon a month later. For many Muslims, Eid is tonight. Families spend the last few days of Ramadan shopping for new clothes and gifts for loved ones and preparing an almighty feast.
And what happens at the end of Ramadan?
It's Eid, and then you get lots of presents and you have a big feast with your friends.
A well-deserved celebration after a month of sacrifice. Raf Sanchez, NBC News, London.
Raf, thanks so much. Fascinating. Now to a story of a very resilient sea turtle and the volunteers who helped save his life. Our pal Kerry Sanders introduces us to the heroes who helped sea turtles at one very special homecoming.
Lester, a sunrise over the Gulf of Mexico was never so captivating. That's a 150-pound green sea turtle inching his way home. This 20-year-old turtle among the last of more than 5,000 turtle survivors to finally head back into the warmed-up waters of the Gulf of Mexico. How do you feel seeing this moment?
It is so overwhelming. After treating and rescuing more than 5,300 turtles, to watch Falcon Heavy go back into the Gulf of Mexico, it's overwhelming.
The turtle troubles began last February. Remember when Texas was unexpectedly hit by a deep freeze? The Gulf of Mexico also turned bitter cold. The rare cold wave triggered a heartbreaking scene off South Padre Island. More than 5,000 sea turtles bobbed to the surface. Like your hand in winter that doesn't open and close as it would if you had a warm glove on, the freezing water temperatures cold stunned the turtles into a sort of suspended animation. If they had not been pulled from the water, biologists say they would have drowned. Did you know sea turtles can't hide inside their shells the way you see in cartoons? Their spine is connected to the inside of the shell. And even though people think turtles are slow, sea turtles actually swim very fast, up to 35 miles per hour.
So when does your patrol start?
Thankfully for the cold-stunned turtles, volunteers from Sea Turtle Inc. came to the rescue. John Spreed was there for what would become the largest cold-stunning event ever recorded. He even has the t-shirt to prove it.
You have to hold those turtles 24 hours because their heartbeat goes down to maybe once every 2 minutes when they're in this cold stunned state. So you don't know.
It would turn out that they were
alive.
Alive, but to save them, they first needed to be warmed up. But that was a problem. The extreme cold knocked out all electricity.
3, 2, 1.
SpaceX to the rescue. The rocket engineers shared a massive generator from their nearby launch pad. It powered heaters, and the turtles began to warm up.
They, in fact, pulled the generator off the launch pad. It happened to be exactly what we needed.
Most turtles, like kids on a swimming pool slide, went wee, wee, wee back home. But the 150-pound turtle nicknamed Falcon Heavy, the same name as a SpaceX rocket, had to stay behind.
He had really swollen eyes, almost like a predator had attacked him. So he really needed the last few weeks for medication and a little TLC.
During the freeze, veterinary tech Nina Navi says Falcon Heavy was one of her toughest patients.
Had he not been brought here and given this treatment?
Unfortunately, I don't think that turtle would have made it. Whoever rescued that turtle got there just in the nick of time.
3, 2, 1.
Like a slow-moving rocket, Falcon Heavy recently had his own launch. An endangered sea turtle, now alive, with thousands more, thanks to the work of so many volunteers. And of course, the determination of an animal that has survived since the time of dinosaurs.
150 pounds, they estimate that Falcon Heavy's about 20 years old. His lifespan could exceed 100 years. A wonderful day here on South Padre Island as so many people celebrating this success.
Lester, what a moment.
Okay, Carrie, thank you. Well, many of you may aspire to be chefs or cooks, but did you know cooking is chemistry? We want to bring in Kate Bieberdorf, author of a new book, Kate the Chemist, the awesome book of edible experiments for kids. Kate, always great to see you, and I see you're cooking up a fun treat. What are you going to make today?
Of course, we're going with dragon frosting and dragon cupcakes. What else would we be making?
Of course. And, you know, I said it in the introduction, and we forget sometimes that cooking really is chemistry at work.
100%. Yeah, every time you're in the kitchen, whether you like it or not, you are being a chemist, you are being a scientist. So what I did is I took 25 different experiments that you can do in the kitchen that you can eat. For the first time ever, I've never been able to eat my chemistry experiments. And so with the book, we're able to do that. And so I'm so excited.
It's fun.
But are you ready to get started?
Let's do this. Show us what you got.
Okay, so we're gonna make some dragon cupcakes first. And so what you need for this is a mixer, a mixing bowl, however you wanna do it. You're gonna take about 2/3 cup sugar, dump that right in, and then you're going to add the butter to that. It's about 1/4 cup butter. You definitely wanna soften that before you get going, and then go ahead and turn the mixer on and let that going. And what we're doing scientifically is allowing for the sugars to dissolve in those fats, but really there's some little bit of water molecules tucked in there, and the sugar like sneaks in, dissolves into the water, and then you get this like fluffy, gooey, wonderful mixture. So once that's nice and mixed together, then you're going to add your eggs. We need 2 eggs today. So both of those are going to go right in. Now the eggs are super important in science because it allows for us to make an emulsion. So for the first time ever, we can take oils, which are our fats, right? And then take our water and we can mix them together. Because we all know oils and waters don't mix, but with an egg, we can force them to do that. We also add some protein molecules in there, which give our cupcakes a little bit of structure. And then we're going to add some vanilla, about 3 teaspoons. I go heavy on vanilla because I love that. No real science there, it just makes it taste good. And then you're going to mix that all together, and it should have this like wonderful homogeneous mixture at the end. So homogeneous meaning like one beautiful thing, it all looks the same. Now, while that's mixing, what you're going to do is mix your other protein section, which is all your flour. So you're going to take flour, mix it with about a half a teaspoon of salt and about a teaspoon of baking soda. Then what you're going to do is take this whole species right here, and you're going to add it into that buttery mixture. Now, you're only going to add half of it, though, because the protein in their flour is so dry that it sucks up the moisture. So what we do then to battle that is we're going to add a little bit of milk at the time. So we're going to add some flour, then about 2 tablespoons of milk, then the rest of the flour, then the rest of the milk. So we'll go ahead and do that here. Oh my goodness, I love cupcakes. I don't know about you, but that's one of my favorite things.
I adore them. We've got a cupcake place in the building here. It's hard to walk by it.
You have a cupcake place in your building?
We do. It's amazing.
Oh, that would be dangerous for me. When my editor said that we could make cupcakes in here, I was so excited. I was like, uh-oh, I'm going to have to test a lot of different things. All right, so all of that's going to mix together, and I actually jumped ahead and made our batter ahead of time this morning so we didn't have to sit and listen to that noise. But once that's all mixed together, what you're going to have is this beautiful, like, thick mixture. If it's too thick, like if you have too much flour, what you can do is add some milk because it's going to be some cream, some fats. It also has water in there to help it dissolve. But if you go the other way, you can also add some flour if you think it's too liquidy. But if it's good, it should look just like this. So then what you're going to do is take a half a cup, you're going to scoop it in and put it all into your muffin pans. Now that's actually the experiment here, is we're going to take our muffin pans and see what we can do to line them properly so that we can figure out the best way to pop our cupcake out of the pan. So what we're going to do is test 4 different ways of preparing our cupcake pan, if you will. So the first one we're going to do is my personal favorite, and you'll see why in a second, is we're going to use our non-stick cooking spray. And essentially what that has is 3 different oils in it. This one specifically has canola oil, coconut oil, and palm oil in it. So there's 3 different greases that help protect the pan and keep your cupcake to kind of lift off of it. The second thing we're going to use is another fat, a triglyceride, which is your butter. And we're going to use the butter and just line the entire pan just like this. It's beautiful. The third one, we're going to do the same thing with our butter, but then what we're going to do is line it with flour. So I don't know about you, but these recipes, like a lot of pies sometimes will call for this, and they'll be like, oh, okay, take some flour, put it over your butter, and then give it a little shake, shake, shake. If you're ever in the kitchen, grab a baking sheet, flip it over, stomp, 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 stomp. Like that. That's all you have to do, and then you should have it perfectly lined. Now, I'm going to be honest, I hate this one. I don't like it at all because what the flour does is essentially acts like glue. It's like an adhesive, so it sticks your cupcake to the pan. It's awful. I don't like that one. The science says no, okay? So now the last one we're going to do is we're going to check our cupcake liners. I have tons of different colors, so we'll just go with these cool purple ones today. Why not, right? So we're going to grab a couple of these and we'll throw them into the cupcake liners. So that's what we've done to prep our pan. So the science experiment here is which one is the best. So what we do is we're going to take a half cup of the batter, dump it into the pan, then we're going to pop it into the oven for about 16 to 18 minutes at about 350 degrees. And if you do that properly, you are going to have some amazing looking dragon cupcakes. Now, Lester, you'll see that these are colored, so obviously I've spiked them a little bit. So to get these really neat arrangements here, what you do is you just do a little bit of food coloring at the top once it's already in the pan. Grab a butter knife, swirl it around, give it a little swoosh, and then you'll look for a heterogeneous mixture here so you can clearly see 2 different things. All right, so now for the experiment, which one works best? So this is the one where I used my cooking spray. Pops right out. Look at that. All of those just jump right out. The cooking spray absolutely 100% works. Now for my butter ones, not really working so great. Yep, not so great. Okay, here's butter with flour. No, like this one is glued in. Okay, I did pop that one out. That one did work actually. That worked. But this one there, and then here's our liners. the liners jump right out as well. And so the last thing I want to point out is the shape of your cupcake when you use the liner. Because you're not using something that has that grease in there to kind of push the cupcake against the wall or away from the wall, your cupcake ends up flattening out. So when you use the liner, you can take them out, but they're not as pokey. So I personally love the ones where you use the non-stick cooking spray, because what it does is it makes your cupcake pull away from the pan, and then you get this really cool looking cupcake. However, with Dragon Cupcakes, it's only blue on the top. It's not on the bottom, as you can see. If you want it to be fully blue, you're going to put your food coloring directly into that batter. Now, the fun part, we've got to add some frosting. So in the book, I teach you how to make dragon frosting 2 different ways. So this one I use cream cheese, and this one I use milk. And all you do is grab that cupcake, grab your frosting, put it on here. And then you can have an amazing thing. Now, I'm trying to do this with one hand so I can show you, so it's not perfect, but you can see the frosting's gorgeous. And so the frosting science is all about your fats. So are you using cream cheese, or are you using cream, are you using milk? And it's really about personal preference. I like the cream cheese one like this. Usually when I have it flat, I can decorate it a little bit better, but this is my personal favorite one. God, I love science in the kitchen.
It looks great. Kate, you know, you're amazing. You make science fun, but now you're also making it edible and making it sweet. So that's a triple win. Thank you so much for coming on. Finally, in our Inspiring Kids series, we ask you, if you were given $1,000, what would you do with it? That's the idea behind an inspiring project kids are leading across the country. Our friend Kristen Dahlgren has the story.
You're given $1,000. What would you do with it? Maybe a lot comes to mind. But that's the idea behind the Ving Project, a program that grants teens $1,000 to donate to someone facing hardship in their local community.
I had an opportunity to give somebody who I thought was deserving of $1,000.
And I started thinking, well, this might be fun to just try.
After an interview process, high school freshman Preston Bowman was selected to participate.
I started thinking of people, who could I give my $1,000 to? And I thought of my amazing bus driver, Val. Let me tell you, Val is the most kind person you'll ever meet in your life. He just greets you with such a smile, and he has such a passion for driving, and he really loves every kid on that bus.
When school shut down, so did Val's job.
I thought, I really feel bad for this man who's missing out on this year, and I didn't even get to say goodbye to him because COVID hit.
With the help of his school, Preston set up the surprise of a lifetime for the bus driver, delivering a $1,000 check to his idol Val.
No.
Yes.
I don't have any word to express my feeling. How I feel right now.
He felt like the best person in the world, and he gave me a big hug, and we had a great day. It was just the most amazing feeling in the world to me to be able to affect someone else's life in such a great way.
So what I'm going to say to my wife, my kids, they won't believe me.
18-year-old Josiah Alfer shared that same sentiment.
Hi.
The Ving volunteer decided to surprise an inspiring hairstylist with the donation.
Ving has decided to bless you with a check.
When I tell you, her mouth dropped to the floor and she was like, wait, what? And she started screaming. And it was just like the best feeling in the world. And she was so happy. Like, her reaction was gold. It was the best thing ever.
Ving, Josiah, words, I have so much I want to say, but I'm so lost for words.
What I did for Edie was so amazing and so big, but I honestly think that the everyday things and the little things count, and those are the things that people are really gonna remember. People are always gonna remember how you made them feel.
Teenagers have this amazing power to do anything they put their mind to, and if we put that to good, the world could be a better place.
Thanks to acts of kindness that go a long way.
Kristen, thank you so much for that. Well, that's going to do it for us. Parents, just a reminder, if your child has a question about anything in the news, email a video to us at nightlynewskids@nbcuni.com. You can also follow us on Instagram. Also, just a program note, you can catch a new episode of Nightly News Kids Edition this Saturday on NBC. Check your local listing for the time where you live. Thanks for watching, everybody, and remember, please take care of yourself and each other.